Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a Frieren, Beyond Journey's End fan, I've got some incredible news for you. The second season is literally knocking at our door, and the production team just released an exciting introductory video for the first episode of the new season. And that's not all. There's so much to talk about regarding what's coming in this epic continuation of Frieren, Fern, and Stark's journey. So grab your favorite snack, get comfortable, and join me because today we're breaking down everything about this highly anticipated second season. First, let's talk about this introductory video that just dropped. The anime released a preview of the first episode of the second season, which is titled Shall We Go Then? Just from the title, you can feel that contemplative energy that we love so much about Frieren, right? The episode airs on Friday, January 16th at 11 p.m. in Japan, during the Friday anime night block on Nippon TV. Here in the West and other countries, we'll be able to watch it on Crunchyroll almost simultaneously. It's important to mark your calendars because after this long wait since the first season ended in 2024, we're finally going to see the continuation of this wonderful story. In the promotional video, we see Frieren, Fern, and Stark apparently ready to advance towards a new phase of their journey. What caught my attention was how the preview maintains that contemplative tone that defines the series. There are those silent decisions, memories from the past, and the emotional weight that accompanies each step of the group. It's literally what we expect from Frieren. It's not an action-packed adventure, but rather an introspective journey about time, choices, and the bonds we create. The direction continues with that characteristic visual care of the work. The calm framing, the soundtrack signed by Evan Call reinforcing that melancholic and nostalgic atmosphere. All of this promises to deepen even more the relationship between the characters, which we know is one of the fundamental pillars of the series. This episode 29 emerges as an important transition within the current arc, preparing the ground for bigger conflicts and new reflections about time, choices, and human bonds that are so central to this narrative. Now, let's talk about what to expect in terms of production. And here, folk, comes news that can be both exciting and a bit concerning, depending on how you look at it. The second season continues to be produced by the legendary Madhouse, the same studio that delivered that flawless first season. The first season was a true production marvel, 28 episodes with absolutely impressive attention to detail, total fidelity to the source material, and consistent quality from start to finish. It was, without exaggeration, one of the best manga adaptations in recent years. However, here comes the part that has generated some controversy in the community. Rumors indicate that the second season will have only 10 episodes. Yes, you heard that right, a drastic reduction compared to the first season's 28 episodes. This information hasn't been officially confirmed by Madhouse yet, but it comes from reliable industry sources indicating that the anime is listed for broadcast for only 10 weeks on Japanese TV. If these rumors are confirmed, this represents a significant change in the season structure. Now, before panicking, let's contextualize this. The first season maintained an adaptation pace of approximately 2 manga chapters per episode, ending around chapter 60. With 10 episodes at this same pace, the second season will probably cover up to around chapter 80 of the manga. And here comes the interesting point. The most anticipated arc by manga fans, the Golden Land arc, begins approximately at chapter 77. So technically, a 10-episode season would still allow the anime to cover at least the beginning of this very important arc, even though finding a satisfying stopping point might be challenging. The direction was handled by Tomoya Kitagawa, while the previous director, Yuichiro Fukushi, took on a more consultative role. But the good news is that most of the main staff return, including the complete Japanese voice cast. This means that consistency of quality and style we love so much has everything to be maintained. The soundtrack continues in the talented hands of Evan Call, who is absolutely essential in creating that unique atmosphere of the series. And speaking of music, singer Millet returns to perform the ending theme of the second season, maintaining that emotional connection she established with the series since the first season. Now let's get to the part that manga readers are most anxious to see. Which story arcs will we see adapted? The second season will start exactly where the first one left off, chapter 61 of the manga. We'll mainly see 2 arcs, the continued Northern Travels arc and the Divine Revolt arc. The continued Northern Travels arc picks up right after Fern earned her first-class mage title in the exam. Now, the group can finally continue their journey towards the Northern Plateau, which is their goal to reach Oriole, the legendary location at the extreme north of the continent. But this isn't a smooth journey, folks. The Northern Plateau is an extremely dangerous region, full of concentrated mana. This means that the monsters and magic in this area are at a completely different level from what we've seen so far. It's a territory where even experienced mages need to be very careful. And here comes something interesting that the trailers have already shown. The group will find themselves themselves in a situation where they temporarily become unable to use magic. Imagine the tension. Frieren and Fern, who completely depend on their magical abilities, suddenly vulnerable. This means that Stark, our dear warrior who sometimes seems to be left aside, can finally have his moment to shine. He'll need to use his physical strength to protect Frieren and Fern, and this promises to be exciting to watch. Then comes the Divine Revolt arc, which adds even deeper layers to the narrative. This arc explores new regions and communities that have been shaped both positively and negatively by the deeds of legendary heroes from the past. It's fascinating because it shows how the legacy of Himmel and his group's original journey continues to reverberate through the world, sometimes in unexpected ways. Since the continued Northern Travels arc covers only about 10 chapters of the manga, it's very likely that we'll also see the Divine Revolt arc included to complete the season. This would give a more satisfying conclusion and allow the story to breathe a bit before the next big arc. And speaking of the next big arc, we need to mention the elephant in the room, the Golden Land arc. This is widely considered by manga readers as the best and most impactful arc of the entire series so far. It's a spectacular, deep, and extremely well thought out story that really elevates Frieren to another level. The Golden Land arc involves Frieren and her group traveling to a mysterious region that has been transformed into gold. They'll help Denken, yes, that first-class mage we met in the exam. For Denken, this mission in the Golden Land has a much more personal meaning. Without getting into spoilers, I can say that this arc addresses deep philosophical questions about morality, humanity, and the consequences of our choices. The question is, with only 10 episodes, will we see the complete Golden Land arc? Probably not, and maybe that's even good. The arc has a very clean conclusion in chapter 104 of the manga, but adapting it completely in a few episodes could compromise the contemplative pace that makes Frieren so special. Some interesting speculations have emerged in the community. What if the Golden Land arc gets its own movie? Think about it, Frieren is already the highest rated anime on MyAnimeList list, surpassing even established masterpieces. A well-produced movie of the Golden Land arc could not only do justice to the story, but also further elevate the series' profile in the mainstream, reaching audiences beyond the anime community. The only problem would be that the Golden Land arc is quite long, so a single movie probably wouldn't cover the complete story. But it would still be an incredible cinematic experience. One of the most special things about Frieren is how the series approaches its themes. It's not a common fantasy anime. It's a meditation on time, memory, regret, and legacy. And the second season promises to deepen these elements even further. Frieren's central concept is fascinating. The grand adventure that saved the world is already over when the story begins. The series isn't about defeating the Demon King that already happened. It's about what comes after, about processing that experience, about understanding the value of the connections we made. The second season will continue exploring how an immortal elf like Frieren experiences time completely differently from humans. While a few decades are practically nothing for her, for Fern and Stark their entire lifetime. This dichotomy creates moments of deep emotion and reflection. We'll see more about Frieren's fragmented memories of her old group. Each flashback isn't just nostalgia, it's Frieren slowly realizing what she lost by not valuing the time she had with Himmel, Hyder, and Eisen while she was with them. It's painful, it's beautiful, and it's incredibly human despite being led by an immortal elf. The relationship between Fern and Stark will also evolve. They're not just apprentices following their masters, they're building their own identities, their own stories. The group dynamic will change as Fern takes on her role as a first-class mage. This adds a new dimension to their interaction. Something that director Yuichiro Fukushi mentioned in interviews is that we'll explore fresh dynamics, new combat situations, and the changing mindsets of all characters. It'll be exciting to see how their roles develop and how Frieren grows through these experiences. And here's something important. Even with a potentially shorter season, the production team has clearly committed to maintaining quality. The trailers we've seen so far show that stunning animation, those contemplative quiet moments, and that meticulous attention to detail continue to be present. Madhouse has a reputation to uphold. They know that Frieren isn't just another fantasy anime. It's a work of art that deeply resonated with millions of fans around the world. The pressure is enormous, but if there's a studio capable of delivering, it's Madhouse. Another important expectation is how the series will balance action and contemplation. Frieren was never about spectacular battles all the time. It's about those small moments, a conversation about flowers, a seemingly useless spell that carries deep meaning, a nostalgic smile when remembering a lost friend. But when action happens, it happens in a meaningful and impactful way. Each battle has weight, has consequences, has emotional significance. And with the group entering more dangerous territories in the Northern Plateau, we can expect some really intense action sequences. Manga readers know that the arcs to come have some of the most emotionally devastating moments in the series. Without giving spoilers, I can say you'll need tissues. Frieren has this incredible talent of making you emotional about the simplest things, and that will only intensify in the second season. So, let's recap the practical information so you don't miss anything. The second season of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, premieres on January 16, 2026. In Japan, it airs at 11 p.m. Japan Standard Time every Friday on Nippon TV. For us here in the West and most of the world, Crunchyroll will simulcast, meaning episodes will be available almost at the same time as in Japan. For North America specifically, episodes should be available around 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. A French dub has already been confirmed by Crunchyroll, but there's no date yet for an English dub. For now, we'll have the episodes with English subtitle. Crunchyroll continues to hold international streaming rights for most regions. In some areas of Asia, Muse Communication will handle distribution, and we'll probably see the season arrive on Netflix eventually, but that usually happens after the season finishes airing, following the pattern we saw with the first season. As for the number of episodes, as I mentioned, rumors point to 10 episodes, but we're still awaiting official confirmation. If this is confirmed, we'll have weekly episodes until approximately the end of March 2026. Now, some recommendations for those watching. If you haven't seen the first season yet, stop everything and watch it before the second season premieres. Seriously, folks, Frieren is a series that builds its emotions on top of everything that came before. Each memory, each flashback, each moment of reflection gains much more weight when you understand the entire journey the characters have already made. The first season has 28 episodes, and I know it might seem like a big commitment, but trust me, you'll devour it. Once you start, it's hard to stop. It's the kind of anime that captures you not with cheap cliffhangers, but with that genuine emotional connection with the characters and their journey. And if you're already a fan waiting for the second season, my recommendation is take the opportunity to rewatch the first season, or at least the last episodes of the First Class Mage Exam arc. It will refresh your memory about where we were in the story and leave you even more emotionally prepared for what's coming. For those curious about the story beyond the anime, the Frieren manga, written by Kanehito Yamada and illustrated by Tsukasa Abe, is still ongoing. This means there's no risk of the series ending abruptly or running out of source material. There's guaranteed story for several seasons if the anime continues to be successful, and everything indicates it will. The manga is currently around chapter 140, so even if the second season covers up to chapter 80, there's still plenty of material to adapt. And the manga's quality remains consistently high, so we can expect future seasons to continue delivering that same magic. Folks, Frieren's return is genuinely one of the most exciting premieres of 2026. It's not every day we have an anime that manages to resonate so deeply with so many people around the world. What makes Frieren special isn't just the beautiful animation or the moving soundtrack. It's how the series makes us think about our own lives, about how we use our time, about the relationships we cultivate, about the regrets we carry and how we can move forward. It's an anime that makes you cry not because something tragically dramatic happened, but because a character remembers a friend smiling, or because someone finally understands the meaning of a small gesture made decades ago. This genuine emotion, earned, deserved. So yes, I'm incredibly excited for the second season. Even if it's a shorter season, if the quality is maintained, it will be an amazing experience. And who knows, maybe this shorter structure will open doors for a Golden Land arc movie, which would be absolutely epic. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave that like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and turn on notification bells so you don't miss any content about Frieren and other amazing anime. Leave in the comments, what are you most looking forward to seeing in Frieren's second season? Would you prefer the Golden Land arc to be a third season or a movie? Let's talk, and see you next Friday to discuss the first episode of the second season. Until then, folks, and good journey.